don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Political Spotlight. I am your host, your long and faithful host here behind the mic, Christopher H. Bilbrey. Producer Kate is down at the controls doing what she does best, making sure everything runs smoothly and that we are running above board and everybody is happy and healthy. And I guess she can't do any of that, so I don't know. Hope you're healthy, but we'll do what we can. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is no, it's not the 200. It's the 328th episode. I cannot believe we're almost to episode 330. That's amazing. 328th episode of the Political Spotlight. And hey, I'm feeling A-okay. All right. Okay. Hey, while we're here at the front of the show, I will ask that you guys do us a favor and please help us feed the algorithm, whatever they are, the algorithm assholes that likes. If you could give us a like to the show. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you a dime. It is exactly free. It's amazing. There's hardly nothing in this world free anymore. Ponytail. It's going to be a lot longer than that, sir. Although I was just looking in the mirror yesterday and I was like, I could literally go in and get a haircut right now and it would be just about ready to be. So I might actually go get one before we even get crazy long here. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, if you could give us a like, that would be great. Share the show, do all of that stuff, all of those things that we love that you do. I know most people are going to be like, wait, but you bitch every night. Tonight I'm gonna do something a little bit different. So if you have watched on YouTube, if you've clicked on via YouTube or you've clicked on via Rumble or X, you probably more than likely saw a thumbnail that looked like this. This is what the thumbnail looked like. And the episode was called 328. Well, was this Madison County Council meeting any different? However, those of you from Muncie, those of you from Delaware County, from other locations, from outside of Indiana, don't go running and screaming away, because this is not going to be only a Madison County meeting. This is going to be kind of maybe a little introspective type of a thing. We're going to talk about some things that happened in the Madison County meeting tonight, but I'm also going to talk to you, the listeners, and hopefully I'm going to pass on a message to maybe new ears. Maybe this will be the one that I use to help spread the message, and just the right amount of you will share it with different people, and new people will be able to hear it because they need to. Maybe people that haven't been as involved, maybe people who have said, I don't like the national politics. I don't like politics. It's too mean. People are yelling and shouting, and I don't like debating, and please, no, don't debate. Blah, 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 blah. All of that mindless stuff that really gets us into a situation where we're at. We're going to talk about all of that. And we're going to talk about what I'm rambling on about, because I am happy. I'm good. I'm feeling good. Right now, I'm in a really good spot. Politics, we should be, at least a portion of us should be happy about where we are, at least nationally. We might still have some serious issues going on locally and at the state level, but we're going to talk about all of this. And I promise you, I'm going to drive around the whole back end and bring it around and circle all of this up, and you're going to understand what I'm rambling on about. So before we do that, let me get to the comments so I can see what you guys are saying right here. I want to start off by saying this. Be careful. He will feed yours. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Right now, buy popcorn. Give me money. Yes. Okay, so this is really important. The Madison County Council meeting for November just wrapped up. Like literally within the last 30 minutes, the meeting wrapped up. And I was really bummed out. I planned on going to that meeting tonight. I had something come up. Obviously, you guys are aware that my grandfather had a little deal. So we have to give him medicine once a day and do all of that. And then there's therapy that's coming in for his surgery and all of this. And so I was kind of thinking that all of this would be able to be done in enough time for me to get to the meeting and be able to be there and do that. Unfortunately, that could not happen. And I've always said, no matter what, politics is important. Very, very, very important. However, family is always first and foremost. Now, that being said, although I wanted to be there and I wanted to say my piece and I wanted to look at them and see if they would throw me out or whatever again, at the end of the day, I am a citizen from Delaware County. And these people are already predestined, pre-designed, preset in their ignorant ways to just decide they're not going to listen to me. They don't care what I say. I could be going in there preaching the gospel and they would not care. All right, I could go in there saying they're wonderful and they're not going to listen to me. I hate that I was not able to be there, but I did take the meeting in and I watched what happened and I listened, and it provided me with some very interesting things that I'm going to go over tonight, that I am going to go over and listen and talk to you about, and we'll maybe listen to a couple bits of the meeting. But this really is a message for everyone. However, besides being a message for just the everyday Tom, Dick, and Harry citizen, this is absolutely a message for the people that are on the front lines. This is a message for people like Janet and people like Sean and like Lorraine and people like Cheryl and people like my friend Catherine and people like that, people like Audie and the people over here that there just are too many to name, Kate and Brandon. For those of us that are actually out here engaging and interacting and going to meetings and speaking at meetings and filing for record requests and keeping our elected officials accountable. Whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat, it does not matter, specifically on the local level or a little bit on the state level. Starts to matter a little bit, but definitely there. And then I'm going to tie it into some of the national stuff too. So for those of you, again, that looked at the thumbnail, hello there, Alva. Basically what I did was, what are you talking about, Alva? Wow, what are we talking about? For those of you that are not familiar, for those of you that didn't see, essentially what happened was there was a Madison County meeting that started at 6 p.m. tonight. And basically, I used the same background. So I use blue backgrounds for Muncie and Delaware County. I use this like salmon colored background for Madison County when I do their meetings. And I do all of the meetings basically the same. Okay. The thumbnails. So for the thumbnail, at the end, when I was putting up, let me see if I've still got it here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I've still got it here. I can put it into you like this. This will be great. Watch this. This will be amazing. So this was the thumbnail for tonight's Madison County meeting. And I know there were a lot of people there, but I put myself and Catherine on there primarily because Catherine is kind of the mouth and people are going to be watching what happens. I put myself on there because I had every intention of going and being there and seeing what was going on. Okay. Then this episode meeting, this is what I put up. That same banner, that same thing with this like gold thing on there. 328. Well, was this Madison County Council meeting any different? Well, straight away, number one, we did things a little bit different. Catherine didn't go live the same way that she always does, which was on her Facebook page. She went live using our system, which set up a Facebook page for her. But what it did is, for the first time, she did something that even her elected officials won't do. She is meeting the people where they are. She made it possible for citizens to watch, not just on Facebook, but they could watch on Facebook and YouTube. They could watch on Twitter. They could watch on Rumble. They could watch on my Facebook page. Hell, I'm not even over there, but they could watch it there. They could watch it on the Political Spotlight Facebook page, not to mention all of the other various pages that we share things to. Like what Kate said right here, we got, in 3 hours, we received 1.2 thousand views on the Madison County meeting, okay? See, what people don't understand is, you guys see what we do here, and you say, well, there's only 33 people watching. Well, that's because there's people on YouTube that are watching. And the people on Facebook are like, well, there's only 12 people that are watching. That's because that's the feed that they're watching from. You're not counting the 500 people that are watching on TikTok. You're not, or Twitter, or the people that are listening from the audio version at the end of this. We are listened to a lot more than the 40 people that are watching live. Those are just the people that are watching live. The majority of our audience watches tomorrow morning or watches tomorrow afternoon, or they'll watch this episode next Saturday. I have a lot of people that'll binge things or will watch bits and pieces. All right. So the thing is, I used to be Catherine. I used to go live in one location, and I resisted for such a long time, for 4 years, I resisted going to YouTube. And I hate to admit it. I hate to admit this, but it was actually Kimbrell that got me to go to YouTube. And, I'm so glad that we are not in connection anymore. I'm so glad that he is, where he's at. And I cannot wait until what happens to him goes through. I'm praying God's will be done in that situation. Justice will prevail, yada, yada, yada. I am happy, though, that I finally bucked up and said, okay, you know what? I'm going to make the jump. And it was rocky. It's been rocky. And, we've started over, and then we started over, and we restarted over, so it's difficult. But I feel like having our show, having our product out on as many different platforms as possible gives people the chance to see us in places where normally we would not have been. And I think that is a good thing. So number one, when you're used to seeing views a certain way and that changes, and here's the thing. A lot of times people will say, well, you're just doing this for the clicks and the views. Okay, the clicks and the views, folks, it's a double-edged sword. No, I'm not, and I truly know that Catherine isn't either. I know that Catherine is trying to get the message out to the people. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what this started off with. The very first time I ever went live, I was like, I don't want to do this. I was writing blogs, long-ass posts on Facebook, and my brother, who's an engineer, Andrew, who was living in Texas at the time, the guy that's in the Navy now and in Italy, he was like, dude, your posts are too long. People aren't reading all of that. You're going to have to start putting out video or audio. People will watch a video. People's not going to read a book on YouTube. Rebecca Crooms is someone like that. I'm sorry, Miss Crooms. I did not mean to leave you out, ma'am. You are right there with us. You are absolutely yes. I did not by any stretch of the imagination mean to leave you out. Rebecca, you are there. Absolutely, Alva. Many of you wouldn't be here without this. So yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. So when people say clicks and views, it's always a double-edged sword, because no, that's not what it's about. But at the same time, it is what it's about, because if you're not getting views, I could go stand in my closet and speak for an hour and a half, but what would be the point? Catherine could drive home from work and bitch about what's going on in her government in her car. She could go home and talk to the dog or whatever. She could call her girls, or she could call a friend and bitch one-on-one. But that's not getting the message out. This is about spreading the message. What made me do this? Listen, I had been involved with politics for 20 plus years, where what I had done was I loved politics. I consumed content. I went to meetings and I went home. And then when the election came around, when the election season started, I would go to candidate meetings and I would work with campaigns, and I would walk door to door and I would talk to people, and I would work during the election and help get people elected. And that was it. I never really expressed my opinion to others. I never really tried to tell people, hey, you need to get registered to vote. Hey, you need to come to this meeting. I never did that. I never thought about it. But when I moved from Muncie and I left the political scene in Delaware County and I moved to Winchester, and I told myself I was done with politics. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know if Catherine's watching right now. Catherine was supposed to come on tonight. She's not coming on tonight. And I don't know if I'm speaking a little out of turn, but I'm telling you where Catherine's at right now. Catherine's really burnt out. I think that she feels hurt. I think that she feels, I feel like she feels defeated right now. And I'm speaking to everyone listening. I'm speaking to everybody. But really, number one, this message is for Catherine, and this message is for Rebecca, and this message is for Cindy, and this message is for Cheryl, and this message is for the people. I want everyone to hear this. We're all just citizens. None of us are important. None of us are powerful. None of us are anybody singly. But together, we are powerful. Together, we are something big. And that's what I need people to realize, all right? I need people to understand that. When I left Muncie, I felt like I had been kicked in the teeth. I felt like everything that I had ever fought for was being either crammed down my throat, or everything was going the opposite direction. I was hitting a brick wall. Nothing mattered. I couldn't scream loud enough. I couldn't do anything good enough. And I said, I'm done. I walked away from it. Like Catherine's saying here. You hit a point where you felt like you're banging your head against the wall and screaming into the void. Absolutely. I've been there. And I walked away, and I walked away from politics for 3 years. And what it was actually becoming a coach for my stepkids, becoming a coach for their like t-ball and soccer coach, and having to call parents and talking to the parents that actually got me kind of back involved in politics again, because I was talking to people, and it was through that. I really wasn't talking to adults, but it was that time. It was kind of that time where I was like, kind of got the itch for the politics again. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go down and I'm going to find out when the city council meeting is here, and I'm going to attend the city council meeting, and I'm going to follow what's going on, and I'm going to listen and just kind of see what's going on here. And I walked into that Winchester city council meeting. I got there like 20 minutes early, and I sat down kind of in the middle of the room. And there were 2 or 3 people up there, and the council, came in finally. And there were like 4 or 5 people that sat in the audience. And I was like, okay, there's not a lot of people here, but there are 4 or 5 other citizens at least. And we got into the meeting, and they started the meeting. I'll never forget this. This was the very first meeting in Winchester I ever attended. I attended a lot of meetings in Muncie. I had attended a lot of Delaware County meetings. I had been to Indianapolis things. I'd been to state. I'd been down to the state house, but I'd never been to another city meeting. And this was the first other council meeting I'd ever been to at this point. And I was thinking, all right, I'm sitting in here, with these 4 or 5 other citizens. And the council meeting started. And after a few minutes, they said, okay, we're ready for the fire chief's report. And this guy that was sitting back here in plain clothes stood up, and he stood up and he gave the fire chief's report. And I was like, oh, well, all right, I guess that's our fire chief. And, we talked, and it was the fire chief. And they're like, okay, well, we're ready for the street superintendent's report. And this next guy over here, he stood up and he gave the street superintendent report. And I was like, oh, well, all right, I guess that was the street superintendent. And they said, okay, we're ready for the park department's report. And the lady back behind me stood up. By the end of that meeting, everyone in the audience, ladies and gentlemen, I found out was employed by the city of Winchester. They performed a meeting for probably 45 minutes for one citizen. That was me. I was the only citizen there. And I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what in the hell? And so after the meeting, I talked to a couple of the council people, and, you know, they seemed friendly at the time. And I was like, you know, is it normally like this? Is it this bear? And they're like, yeah. And I left thinking, man, if I wasn't there, they would have like talked for 5 minutes. They would have signed everything they needed to sign, and they would have been out of there. Had I not been there, I guarantee you, it's just so interesting. I would have liked to known what would have happened. And it probably, I didn't ask. I should have asked, like, well, were there anybody here last meeting? I didn't ask that question. But at the time, they did 2 meetings a month, the first Monday of the month and the third Monday of the month. And so I went back to the third Monday, and I went in there, and it was me and those same people again. And for 6 meetings, ladies and gentlemen, this is how that went. And around the 4th or 5th meeting, I was like, I need to start letting people know, like, what the hell is going on here? Because people aren't attending these meetings. People have no idea what's going on. So that's when I went home and I started writing, like, on Facebook. And I had a blog at the time. And I would write on this blog, and I would share the link on Facebook. And then I just got rid of that. And I started posting on Facebook, and I went to that. And then from that, I started doing Facebook Live, and then all of that. And yeah, that's, yeah, no, the paper was not being used. You know, the paper was useless. At the time, Winchester had a paper that was, I think, 5 days a week, but they quickly cut that down to 2 days a week. And it was just an absolute joke. And so that got me fired back up. I ran for city council in 2015. I lost the election. Of course, when you lose an election, you feel like you've been punched in the mouth. You feel like you've been punched in the teeth. You feel like nobody cares. You feel like I'm giving it my all, but nobody, you know, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't give up. I stayed involved, and I kept going. And then quickly thereafter, the whole big fight for the Winchester House thing started happening. But you know what happened? When I started writing about what was going on and people started following it, and I would get like 50 people reading a post and commenting and watching, after 2 or 3 other meetings, people started coming to the meeting. And I quickly realized, wait a minute, people are listening to what I'm saying, and I'm actually getting people to show up here. And from that, people started attending the meetings. And it would be standing room only times where you couldn't fit anyone else in the building. And for every time somebody kicked me in the teeth, for every time I was wrong, for everything that I got wrong, for everything that they did that said, it doesn't matter what you do, we're going to step over you, you know, screw you, it doesn't matter, you know, to hell with you, we're going to do what we want. I knew that there were people there that were there because of my writings, because of my videos. And when I was arrested for speaking in the meeting in November 27th of 2017, I thought right then, oh my God, I knew they had messed up, but I thought, that's it. People are going to say that I was out of control, that I was a monster, and they have ruined me. But when I got home and I had people who had never liked me before that writing me and saying, listen, I don't necessarily like you, or I don't necessarily like what you say, but what they did was too far, or, we haven't been paying attention, but now that they can arrest people for words, we're now paying attention. I thought, uh-oh, they turned me into a martyr. And so over the years, when I went from being a thing where I was just following Winchester, and I still followed Muncie because this was my birth community. So I lived in Winchester, but I followed Muncie, and I would still post about Muncie. And I remember at the time, I lived in Winchester, and those people were saying, you don't matter. I had lived there for 5 years at this point, but they were saying, you're not from here. Go back to where you came from. And I'm like, I'm a citizen of Winchester. I vote in Winchester. I ran for office in Winchester, but because my great-great-grandfather wasn't born here, you're telling me I don't matter? To hell with you. So they were telling me I didn't belong there. And then when I was interacting in Muncie was saying, well, you left. You're not from here. Go back to Winchester. So I was like a man without a home. Boy, when I moved back to Muncie, you want to talk about not fitting in anywhere. At that point, I wasn't from Muncie. I wasn't from Winchester. They wanted me to not speak from anywhere. I couldn't go anywhere. They were pissed. Gaston asked for help, and I went up to Gaston. Newcastle asked for help. I've helped people from all over East Central Indiana. I've been involved with Madison County. Before this, I was involved with Madison County back in 2020. And then, I've been involved now over the last couple of years because of Catherine. And all of this time, I can always tell you when something happens, and when the dander gets ruffled on people and people get all fired up about something and something's going crazy and people are all fired up, a lot of people come out of the woodwork. A lot of people get involved. I want to start going to the meetings. I'm going to get involved. I'm going to run for office. I'm going to be... And here's what happens. A lot of those people mean it. A lot of those people really want to do something about something, and they really want to be involved, and they really want to be a part of it. But what happens is the excitement fades. A lot of it is people like the drama. People like to see, oh no, what's going to happen next? Oh no, is he going to be arrested? Oh no, is he going to call that guy an asshole? Oh no, are they going to shoot him? People just want to see somebody throw a chair. You know what I mean? That's what it is. That's what it is. No, Karen, you're good. You keep on going. You're great. Absolutely. Friday's episode will be a great example of that. I've had people say that. I'm not from Westdale. I didn't go to Westdale. I don't live in the Westdale School District. I don't live in Gaston. I don't live in that township. I don't have kids that go there. So why am I talking about it? Why does it matter to me? Because the truth matters. Because there are people out there asking the truth, asking for the truth. They don't know how to get the truth. And so I'm bringing the truth to them. That's what it is. This stuff matters. It truly does matter. It matters to the people who do live there. Absolutely. So when something happens and people get fired up and they're like, I'm going to be involved. I'm going to be involved. You can always tell after about 3 meetings, after about 2 or 3 weeks, a good number of those people fade away because the drama has simmered down. We don't always want crazy drama. It shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't need to hire an attorney or have to hire an attorney or have to hire a bodyguard or have to go out and buy a gun just to participate in politics. Now, I would highly recommend people go to your nearest pew, pew, pew store And if you need, check out Trigger Outdoor Sports. They're amazing for all of their sporting utensils. Anything that you might need, they've got what you want guaranteed. You know, that kind of thing. Trigger Outdoor Sports. Check them out in Winchester, Newcastle, some Greenfield or whatever. I don't know. Greencastle.
Clinton, don't lie about the staff. We all know the guy that manages that place is a complete asshole.
Yeah, that's true. At that time, you should have like turned it to him. Is he there?
Oh, no,
he's on the couch asleep. Listen, you can hear him snoring.
You can hear him.
Yeah.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah. I love
that's my particular complaint right now, and why I'm saying he's an asshole.
Yeah, because you can hear him snoring still.
Yeah, and I think they're up to somewhere over 900 Freedom dispensers.
Oh wow! Where's the other store? I got that wrong. Where is it at?
So there's one in Newcastle, and one in Greenville, Ohio.
Newcastle, Indiana, and Winchester, Indiana. Greenville,
Ohio.
Yeah, Greenville, Ohio, Winchester, Indiana, Newcastle, Indiana.
And all of the stores have right around 900 Freedom dispensers.
Yeah, that's good. Good stuff.
Nice selection.
Yeah. Absolutely. Check them out. But that being said, you know, you should be able to be involved without all the craziness. And it should be peaceful, and we should be able to discuss things, and you shouldn't have all of the chaos. Okay? So when all of the people that are just in it for the drama fades away, it leaves the people who are more serious. But when you're dealing with normal, everyday people who haven't been involved with politics, when you're dealing with people who are just normal everyday, you know, maybe they work for a company, maybe they're a small business owner. Like Catherine, she's in the medical business, she's a medical professional. It's really a shock to the system seeing. It's really a shock to the system seeing what goes on in government. It's really insane. It's honestly really crazy to see what goes on with these elected officials who are supposed to be public servants, who are supposed to be working for us. It's draining. It's to a lot of people, it's debilitating. They don't like the constant back and forth arguing and the constant back and forth debate. Now, listen, I'm broken. I get off on that. I love that. I love the stuff. I love politics. I love the fight. I love the chess and the 3D chess and the 4D chess and the quantum chess of it all. Okay. I love every bit of it. I love the boring stuff. I love the dramatic stuff. I love everything in between. You're going to get 1 in 500,000 people that are like that. No one is like that. Very few people are like that. You'll have people that like various things, but it's hard. It's like so many things trying to steer you this way and that way, around and around in circles. That's very good. It is. And you know what? The number one thing they're trying to do is they're trying to steer you away from the truth. They're trying to steer you into the darkness. They're trying to steer you away from being able to prove what they should be doing is this and not this. And all the while, no matter what you're saying, chances are 50% of the people's already not going to like you because you consider yourself a Republican and the other side are Democrats, or you consider yourself a Democrat and the other side are Republicans. All right, so you've got that to begin with. And nobody understands how it is anymore that it's okay to have 2 different sides or 3 different sides or 10 different sides, as long as we understand that there is a ultimate goal that we are trying to achieve, and there can be, various paths to get there, And you're right, nothing is easy and everything is a fight and everything is an argument. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. Let's see here. A second. It's like that George Harrison song, Any Road, The chorus says, "Oh Lord, we pay the price with the spin of the wheel and a roll of the dice. You pay your fare, and if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there." That's very true. It's like my grandmother. She never knows where she's going, the directions. She is directionally challenged. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. The thing is, there are different ways to get to the same thing. Now, there are people out there that do not want. There are people, no, Heather, you don't ever apologize for anything that you say. At least you don't have to me. And I know that you don't have to Catherine. I don't know who you think you offended. You certainly didn't offend me or anybody. I mean, you didn't offend me. And you don't have to ever apologize for something that you say or think or whatever. That's not something you got to do here. You are fine just the way that you are and saying what you want to say and being who you want to be. That's part of it. But the thing is, I've seen this time and time again. I've seen good people wanting to get involved. And you know what happens is they make it through the chaos and the drama and they're still there. And now they're to the boring part and they're still there. But you know what happens? They go through an election and everything that we wanted to happen in the election doesn't happen. And people are like, well, wait a minute. They completely went against everything we wanted. It's over. And I'm like, no, the fight just begun. So many people say, I've got a duty to do, and my duty is to vote. Ha! That's comical. No. First of all, your duty is not just to vote. Matter of fact, if you believe that your duty is singly just to vote, you should probably stop voting. You should stop voting until you realize that first, your duty is to get informed. You need to get informed about everything that's going on in the election that you're voting in. So if it's the municipal election, you need to know who you're voting for. You need to know all the candidates and what's best and what you support and who you support. And if it's the county, and if it's the state, and if it's the federal, you need to know what you support. And if ever you're voting and there's something that pops up that you do not know or do not understand, leave it blank. Don't just select the girl because she's a girl. Don't just select the guy because he's a guy. Don't just select the white person because he's white or the black person because he's black or whatever. Select the person that is best for the job or the best comes closest to suiting the majority of what your interest is. And if you don't know, let it go. Unfortunately, Rebecca Crooms did not win this election, but she keeps on fighting because I'm speaking to a lot of people tonight, but Rebecca Crooms is not one of the people that I'm speaking to because Rebecca's already through it, already past it. I learn from her. She don't learn from me. I learn from her. She's already through it. She is the number one true badass. Rebecca Crooms knows what it's like to be punched in the teeth and keep on going. Unfortunately, Nicole, I think what happened there just sadly was the fact that the Republican vote came out the way that it did. I mean, and unfortunately, I mean that's why straight party voting is such a horrible, horrible curse on what we go through here, because it's so mindless and it's so stupid. It is so ignorant and harmful. I never understood this. First of all, I don't know a time that I've ever went down and voted for all Republicans or all Democrats or all whatever. But if you want to do that, you're fine to do it. Just go down and select them all. Do not hit the straight party vote button. It's stupid. But Rebecca knows what it's like to win, and she knows what it's like to lose. And when you win, your battle's not over. And when you lose, your battle is not over. The other thing is, and people ask me why I don't set up protests, why I don't set up meet and greets for people to come out and us to show them, stick it to the man. And I'm going to tell you why. And with all due respect to everybody here, myself included, the reason I don't do that is because of you right there. You. And I'm pointing back at myself too. Our lives are hectic. Our lives are crazy. Our lives are chaos. That's just the starting point. But on top of that, people say somebody else will get involved. Somebody else will do it. Somebody else will be involved. And so what it does is it leaves it for the people who are setting it up to do there and to be standing alone. If I set up a protest for any number of things, to fight against the mayor of Muncie, to fight against Sheriff Sproles, to stick it to Ben Gale, to stick it to Missy Williams, or to stick it to Micah Beckwith, or whatever, I would show up, and like 1.5 of my friends would show up if I drove them there. And I'm not mad at anybody for that. I've just done this long enough to know that, unfortunately, people are apathetic. And it even strikes those of us who are involved. It's hard. It's difficult. It is difficult. And that is one of the things that I oftentimes would tell that person that I mentioned earlier, that man. And a lot of people was like, yeah, look at him, because he would say, I don't care. If no one shows up, I'll go do it alone. And he'd go stand out there with a sign, and yeah, it's cool. And people like cheer him on or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know what happens if I go and I say, I'm gonna create a protest against Dan Ridenhour, and I say all this stuff and say all this stuff and say all this stuff, and then I show up. I'm like, this Wednesday we're gonna be there, and Wednesday I show up and it's me holding a sign. Dan's gonna be like, look at that guy, he's an idiot. He don't mean anything. Knowing that we have people that listen and people will do the things that we say and we can move the needle. But as far as getting people to come out of their homes and do stuff, Indiana's not there yet. America's not there yet. Look what just happened during last Tuesday's election. Okay. Look at all the people that turned out to vote. Look at how bad Trump beat her in the popular vote. Okay. Look at what all happened. Where will those same people be in 2 years? Those same people are not going to turn out to vote. Where will those same people be in 3 years? They won't turn out to vote. You know, it's like a presidential election's the only thing that gets them going. And sometimes only if it's a shit show presidential election. You know, the other thing is, and that's what's rough for there was a good amount of people at that Madison County meeting tonight. There were a good number of people there. I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna show you a couple clips from this meeting. Show you a couple of things because this is very important. Okay. During the meeting, the council had a couple of times where they were dealing with money. They were dealing with new money requests. And during new money requests, people would have the chance to speak. Okay. And a couple people got up to speak, and a couple people in the audience said things like, a couple people watching at home said things like, wait a minute, why aren't people speaking? And Catherine commented back and said, look, this is what happens. No one gets up to speak. No one gets up to speak. And I know that breaks Catherine's heart, because Catherine feels like she's fighting and been fighting, for 4 years on this. And she's put her heart and her soul into this. And I'm going to tell you, if you've noticed, to my knowledge, Catherine's not even watching. And I think it's because and I'm not speaking ill of her. I'm trying to shake her, to get out the defibrillators and jumpstart it. Catherine's feeling defeated. She's feeling defeated. And we have to, if Catherine goes away, if Catherine doesn't do, now listen, anyone has the right to bow out of this at any time. To obviously, family has to come first. Your health and your mental health have to come first. And it's okay for people to take breaks from this. It's okay for people to say, hey, I got to bow out for a little bit. I'm going to take the summer off. I'm going to take the winter off. The thing is, you've got to be willing to take that time off and hopefully come back, but you got to do what's good for you. But I don't think that Catherine is totally, truly there yet. I just think that she's feeling defeated. And this is where we have to rally and say, look, yeah, it seems like all this has went against you and that we haven't won and all this has happened, but we are really in a good spot. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. We, people on the right side of things, I don't mean like right as in correct. I mean the conservatives, the Republicans, the libertarianish, conservative libertarianish type folks. For the people that are the right-leaning libertarians, there are left-leaning libertarians, I understand. Constitutionally minded folks. Last Tuesday was Christmas, and we got everything we wanted. We wanted the nice new shiny bike, and we got it. And we wanted that Red Ryder BB gun, and we got it. And we wanted that really cool Superman lair where he hides out the ice castle, and we got it. And we got all the Superman action figures, and we got them. We got all the bad guys. We are the envy of every kid in school. We got everything we wanted and then some. But even those kids, where we are right now with politics is we're 2 days after Christmas. All the toys are opened. All the Christmas is done. Your birthday's in July, so you're like 6 months away from anything fun. You broke all your toys. All the boxes are open, and you're like sitting around saying, I'm bored. I'm bored. There's 2 feet of snow outside. Your dad's going to shovel snow for what seems like the next 6 months. And we're in the winter wonderland where it doesn't get light until 10 a.m. and it's dark by 3 p.m. All right. We're in that shitty side of time. People are politicked out. They don't want to go to meetings. They don't want to hear. They don't. I want golf clubs. I want a diamond. I want a pony so I can ride it twice, get bored, and sell it to make. That's hilarious. Yes. We're in the shitty time right now for politics. The Democrats feel like they've been completely spanked. And they hate everybody, and they're out here. They're afraid that they're going to be rounded up and be made to wear armbands, and they're going to be thrown out of the country, and a bunch of stuff that's not going to happen. Stuff that we have to help convince them and show them that everything's going to be fine, and we're going to be here, and we're going to fight for the Constitution to be upheld, just the same with the Republicans as we do the Democrats. And the world is going to go on, and we're going to be okay. Maybe we'll be able to, maybe we won't. I don't know. But time will tell one way or another. We'll be wrong, and, we'll all be screwed, or we'll be right, and everyone can go, and you'll be fine. All right? That being said, as far as state and local politics, I'm pissed off at the state level. I'm not happy with the governor selection. I am not happy with Braun and Beckwith. And I'm not happy with what happened with the supermajority Republican state level, state Senate and state House. They're all a bunch of idiots. It's all the same establishment nonsense. And it's going to be an uphill battle. I cannot wait to hear what nonsense they all create when they go back into session here just real soon, and start on this next session and see what kind of rights they try to take away from all of us. First Amendment rights, Second Amendment rights, our third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Let's see what they're trying to take away from us. Let's see what they try to do. Let's see them protect more elected officials and give less of a damn about us. Yeah, interesting on the national level. Vivek and Elon are going to be part of this Department of Government, what? Excellence? Efficiency. Department of Government Efficiency. Hey, that doesn't sound too damn bad. See people for who they really are, not what you hope or think. Yeah, that's hard. That's hard for a lot of people. It's really hard for a lot of people. It's really hard for a lot of people. So it's hard for people right now to go to meetings, and even when people do, no one stands up. No one's ever going to stand up and speak the way that I want them to. I hope they do. But I know that we make a difference because I hear the people that vote. I hear the people that are involved. I see the people that watch and that share. I see our numbers. We grow. We're growing. I know it might be hard for you guys to tell, but we are growing. A little bit here and there, but you know what? That's what it's about. I'm fine. Maybe one day we'll have something go viral and we'll jump up, or we'll hit on something big and it'll poof. But I'm fine the way it is. I want to be able to speak to 200,000 people. I want to be able to speak to 1 million people. That would be fantastic. But I love to be able to speak to you people. And, it's hard. It's hard for me. I've got people that want to hear about Henry County. People want to hear about Winchester. I got people that are bitching in my hometown. They're like, man, you've not talked about Muncie in weeks. We're in a weird time right now. We're at the, for Madison County, there's no more council meetings in Madison County. They take December off. That's so weird. At least in Delaware County and in Henry County and Randolph County, we still meet in December. Things will happen, but we're in the Christmas time. We're in Thanksgiving time. These people in the government work less and less and less. Starting about Halloween forward, they're just on autopilot. Don't you think our state makes decisions based on what the party wants? I don't know what that is pertaining to as far as what I'm saying, but sure it does. But less about what the party wants. What did Kate say here? Maybe, but I think they mostly make decisions based on what benefits themselves. That's Kate's got the answer spot on. Yes and no. When you're talking about the state, if you mean,
here's my case in point.
Yeah.
The Republican Party as a whole, nationally speaking, their platform regarding taxes is what?
Lower taxes.
Lower taxes.
Yep.
So we have a government in the state that has voted in automatic increases to the gas tax.
Mm-hmm.
That has done nothing about property taxes and assessments, who has voted in to have the 4th highest sales tax in the country.
Absolutely.
Because they don't give a shit.
Because they do not give a shit.
It's simple as that.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit. And this legislative session, this past session, what were the 2 bills we were screaming about?
Those were bills designed solely to protect elected officials, state level, local level.
All of them, and they all ran on what? Property taxes.
Property taxes.
Doing something about property taxes. They ran on that. And what did they do in session? Cover their own asses.
Yeah. with things that had nothing to do with that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They don't care. They are
Mm-hmm.
in that for themselves and nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Kate's right. Because so one question at a time here, real quick, Tweety Bird. First of all, the state level, going off what Kate was talking about, the state first of all, the state level Republicans and the county level Republicans, they claim to have belief of what the national Republicans do, but they certainly do not live a life like it. It's kind of like saying you're a Christian, but then not really living a Christian life. They say they believe this small government, personal responsibility, low taxes, da 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 da. But that is not how the local party gets on. That's not how the state party gets on. Who dictates how the state of Indiana, meaning the state General Assembly, runs is the Indiana Republican, the HRCC, the leadership of the Indiana State Republican House. The state Senate Republicans are there and powerful too, but it's really Todd Houston and the state House Republican leadership that's really at the top of the hierarchy. So the state of Indiana, with this supermajority, follows the pecking order of whatever Todd Houston and his sycophants want. That's what the state of Indiana does. The things that they want to get rid of, they fight to get rid of. The things that they want to do to help protect themselves and their fans and their friends, they do that. And they might throw a bone to the other Republicans, or they might throw a bone to the governor every now and then, but that's what they do. And it goes based off that. Now, if you say, does that include the presidency? Yeah, on both sides. On both sides, I would say. So first of all, what people don't realize is, so at the national level, you have a Republican national party, and you have the Democrat national party. Okay. And the Republicans have a party chair and the Democrats have a party chair. Well, Stumblefoot says, let's get rid of that position. The problem is it's not a position that we, the people, can get rid of, because it's a party, it's a club position. They would have to choose to get rid of it themselves. Now, we, the people, could really push and dictate and say, hey, because we're the voters. You know, if we would all come together, and instead of having 50 and 60% voter turnout, if we had 95% voter turnout, they would do what we wanted. But we're not there yet. We're not there. But so you have these party chairs at the top of the national food chain of both the parties, Republican and Democrat parties. But when the president is elected president, either Republican or Democrat, when that person becomes president-elect, essentially they become the head of the party at that point. So when Biden became elected president-elect of the United States of America, he became the head of the Democratic Party. And then there was a party of opposition, the Republican chair of the Republican Party, then, had this deal. Well, now Trump has become the president-elect, and he now moves to the head of the party. Now, the difference there is Trump is a different kind of Republican. He's not a Republican. And he's been all over the board, but he's went into this whole kind of this constitutional type of belief. He's fit this category. At least that's what he wants people to look at him as. And he's saying that he's going to govern this way, yada, yada, yada. So there are going to be things, I think, that he does that are different from what the mainstream party would want. And there are going to be things that are good, things that I agree with, and there are going to be things that I don't agree with. And, that's just how that goes. But each thing is different. The state party is, beholden to itself. The national party is beholden to itself. And then the local parties are all beholden to itself. Now, I've always said the things are different. In my opinion, the parties should always work down. Like the state party should be worrying about getting people at the state level elected. The local party should be worrying about getting people at the local level elected. And the national party should be worrying about getting people at the national level elected. And the national level should help people at the state level, and the state level should help people at the local level. But what we have here in a lot of ways, like in Delaware County, the parties have always been more concerned with helping the people up the food chain other than the other way around. It's really backwards. And in a lot of ways, it's the parties that are a problem. The parties are a problem on both sides. The Republican Party chair locally is a shit show. The Democrat Party locally is a shit show. And when I say locally, I mean in Delaware County. I mean in Madison County. I mean in Henry County. I mean in Randolph County. I mean in Marion County. In all of our local counties. And probably in Colorado and in New Mexico and in Nevada and in Kentucky. It's probably all the same everywhere. I don't have any other proof to believe it would be different. Everything that I ever hear or read or see lets me know it's exactly the same. But what we have to do now is tell the people that are out here. Let me ask you. Let me tell you. It is demoralizing. I'm just going to be honest. Saying every night, share the show with everyone you know, and 5 people doing it, 2 people doing it. That's just the way that it is. I'm not griping at any of you. I'm telling people. Now, I've been involved in this long enough that I'm like, it is what it is. Listen, I'm going to make content. If 2 people are watching, I'm going to make content. If 200,000 people are watching, I'm going to make content if I'm talking to the entire world. Okay? I'm going to make content if it's me and Kate just in here talking to each other, or if it's me talking to everybody. That's just how I am. Okay? But I understand that not everybody's that way, and I understand why people that we've worked with, I'm not going to speak out of turn here. I think it's okay because Brandon said it on the show. Brandon has at times in this last election cycle, in this last year, felt really kind of punched in the gut. And he said man, I just feel like no matter where we turn, they're getting over on us. Whatever. It's hard. It is hard to stay in the fight when we are up against all of the insanity, up against every bit of the insanity that they throw our way. I did, unfortunately, I won't be able to get it. Let's star that because I'll have to get it. I will have, let me see if I can. Oh, I should be able to pick it up this way. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I did see it, but the way that we have things set up, it's weird. It doesn't let us get the things the way that it normally would unless we go in a different way. But I start it. That way I can go in and get it off of the channel. But yes, thank you very much for that. I love when you guys share anything with us, anything that you guys ever share. I know that I don't always have a chance. I feel like every president we've ever had listens to advisors. Trump fires them. that's Trump. That's just Trump's, because that is Trump's. That's just how Trump has lived. That doesn't mean there's not people that he listens to. Trump listens to advisors. If you think that Trump does not have people around him that talk with him and that lead him, you are listen. You don't have to like Trump, and I'm not going to be able to force you to like him or be happy that he's president. But like, listen, I didn't think that every single thing ever, always, that Biden did was wrong. There were things that he did that I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Are you is this a case of like, are you going to just absolutely hate literally everything that he does? Or are there going to be things that you can say, yeah, that was good? You know what I mean? Like, I'm interested in how people feel about that, because one of the things that I say a lot and that I believe strongly in is when I say that nobody will believe 100% of what I say or what I believe or how I feel, and no one will believe or disagree with 100% of what I say or do or believe. And I say that's the same way with everybody. No one, to me, if someone says, I believe everything that person says, I think that person is a liar. And if someone says, I disagree with everything that person says, I think that person is a liar. I don't think that. I'm older, so I've been reading about Trump my whole life, so I'm jaded. But you've not read about Trump. Trump's only been political for the last 10 years. So, I mean, we're through the looking glass. It's a little bit different than that. I mean, Trump was good at what he did. Trump was good at what he did. And I got to ask you, I've never truly ever been able to ever get anybody to answer this with any kind of thing that made sense. Why is it, Tweety Bird, that in the 70s and in the 80s and in the definitely the 90s and even the early 2000s, why is it that everybody loved Trump? All of the politicians, Republican and Democrat, all of the big celebrities that fell on both the Republicans and the Democrats, all of different municipalities around the world and different forms of government. Why? How is it that all of these people wanted to be around him, wanted to have pictures taken with him, wanted him to come to their weddings, wanted to be invited to his parties? What is that? Why is that? Heather, whatever that was that you sent, I'm not being able to get it. Can you send it to me in Messenger? We're friends on Facebook. Can you send me that link that you tried to send me in Messenger? Tweety Bird, if you believe that, you're nuts, man. I'm sure there were some people that didn't like him, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, he's no more or less a crook than any really other kind of businessman, just doing what businessmen do to get by. I don't know. Anyways, I want to. He was giving everybody money. And that's really just a lot of the people in, like, a lot of the New York politicians. I mean, I get the politicians because he donated. And look, that's what business people do. That's the thing that happens. That's nuts. That's nuts. He might not be the best businessman that he claims to be, and he might not be the most upstanding, trustworthy, but to say, yeah, he's just not. Bad businessmen go broke. Bad businessmen don't have staying power. And what matters? What matters? It's really hard, people, when you guys talk in 2 or 3 phrases. You have to let me know exactly what you're saying. He still owes massive amounts of money to other people and banks. That's just like business. Yeah, it's a dirty business. Absolutely. So, I mean, do you think that there are businessmen that are on the left that do the same thing? Or are the businessmen on the left, are they all upstanding, fine, churchgoers that, help the needy and give to the little kids with cancer charities and okay, I'm going to show you this here real quickly. I damn sure hope that he I need to get in line. My mom said about 25 years ago, I forget even what she was talking about. She was like, we need to I'm not claiming he's a Christian. I'm certainly not claiming he's a Christian. But in the Bible, God uses a lot of different people that were not believers to further an agenda. His agenda. God's agenda. All right, here, give me a second. Let me see where we are here in this video. Man, even when it's my commercials, it pisses me off. When come on with these commercials, man. Okay, right here, 229.9. Okay, so I want you guys to watch this. This is very interesting. During the public comments portion of one of the new money things, this oh no, first of all, in all fairness, I've got to go back and I've got to show Lorraine, all right? And I show this for a very specific reason, because this is interesting, okay? So what you're getting ready to see in here, What you're getting ready to see is a citizen who is very calm, very intelligent. She's an attorney. She's going to get up and she's going to speak during the public comment section of a new money request after a commissioner spoke requesting, this money, and she's going to get up and she's speaking on the matter. And it might not seem like she is for a moment, but she is. I feel like these people want you to get up there and say, I'm here to speak about what you just said. I like it, I don't, and then sit down. Sometimes you've got to lay the foundation. And she's an attorney. That's part of what's, in her brain. She's laying the foundation, and that's what they don't like. I want you to listen to this, okay? This is very interesting.
Lorraine White, Anderson, Indiana. Good evening, Council. It's my understanding that this may be the last time that we're together before the turn of the year, when there will be new people taking over new roles. I think it's important that Council members scrutinize new money requests carefully and hold the department heads accountable to the budgets they've been provided. In that same vein, I also believe it's important that elected officials provide truthful information when addressing the Council and citizens, that the Council not vote on new money requests and transfers based on misrepresentations. To highlight this, I want to quote Benjamin Franklin, who once said, "Without freedom of thought, there can be no such thing as wisdom, and no such thing as public liberty without freedom of speech." Both the United States Constitution and the Indiana Constitution provide protection for free speech. Indiana's Constitution states, "No law shall be passed restraining the free interchange of thought and opinion, in restricting the right to speak, write, or print freely on any subject whatever, but for the abuse of that right, every person shall be responsible." At the May 10th, 2022 County Council meeting, the Planning Department asked for money to be transferred from the general fund to the Planning Department budget for office supplies and maintenance costs. I spoke at the meeting, stating if the Planning Department issued and collected fines to people who violated zoning ordinance, the department would not need to ask the Council for your tax dollars. This video is online in several places and can be easily accessed. Ben Gale.
Real quick, you are here to speak at this point on the workman's comp request.
Correct.
So I just want to make sure you're getting to that.
Quit interrupting people.
Are you done interrupting me?
If you would like to have the opportunity to continue to speak, if you can be respectful, and you can speak to the.
If you would like the opportunity to speak, then you can be respectful. Now, listen. Did anybody hear anything that she said that was not respectful? Did she raise her tone? Did she curse? Did she say? I mean, she said something that painted him in a bad light, which, folks, this is the absolute definition of viewpoint discrimination. The absolute definition of viewpoint discrimination. And she's not some slouch. She's an attorney. And he's doing this to her.
The item that we're
You
discussing.
interrupted her.
I'd like to have my time restored.
I will make sure that whatever time I took with this, that you have it restored. But please go ahead and speak to this topic.
Ben Gale, who was the president of the council at that time, was apparently unable to comprehend how the collecting of fines would defray these planning department costs and save your tax dollars.
Okay.
At that meeting,
You're out
Gale
of order.
attempted
You're
to-
out of order. Personal insult is not appropriate in a meeting like this.
Personal insults?
Personal insult would be calling him a fucking idiot.
Yeah, right. I mean, did she call him a bitch that I didn't hear? Or like what she repeated what he said in a meeting. What is he saying that is like, and he just couldn't stop himself. This is the last time he is going to appear before these people. He did not run for re-election. He will not be back in the new year, and he just couldn't sit there and listen to these people tell him,
I think you made a mistake. You said this, and I think you were wrong.
Yeah, right.
That's disrespectful.
That's disrespectful.
Oh,
listen.
wow.
So what? Well, so I'm just, they don't have a meeting again. So the public will never have a chance to hear him again or see him again. Thank God, quite honestly. But he is still a public servant until midnight on January 1st or 11:59 on December 31st. So I think I'm going to reach out and text him and call him and email him a few times between now and his retirement to just let him know that I'm unhappy with him as a public servant. Just FYI. It's not like he's just going to go, and I'm not going to be disrespectful. I'm not going to be out of line. I'm not harassing. I'm redressing a government official in a manner that he's never taken issue with before. So should be very, very, very interesting. And yeah, it's very important for Ben Gale to know that he remains legally liable even after he's out of office for offenses committed during his time in office. See, they seem to think that that does not happen. That's what's very interesting. He thinks like he's getting out of here by the skin of his teeth and he's good. No. So let's continue on here because it's not done between him and her.
You need to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself if you're...
That's my commercial, so I should play it, but it is what it is. Hold on a second. Let me get rid of this nonsense.
We're being bold enough. If you search your soul, I think you're going to find...
God. All right, here we go.
So again, would you please talk to this specific motion that's on the floor right now? Not a history lesson of whatever you perceived. That's not what we're here to discuss.
So this is a content-based restriction of my speech.
No, this,
Time, place, manner.
yes.
Perfectly legal. It's not, you have to be germane to public hearing and speak to that.
I have not even spoken for a minute, and I have more to
But
say,
You had spoken more than a minute.
and I have more to say.
Well, then please speak. I will give you one more opportunity to speak towards this workman's comp request because that's what's on the agenda. That's what we're dealing with right now.
At that meeting, Gail attempted to stop me from speaking and opined that paying expenses from fines instead of the general fund, which was made up of your tax dollars, was a county commissioner issue. After that meeting, I subsequently reached out to the commissioners and requested that I be placed on the agenda to speak. The commissioners have no public comment period at their meetings. My request went unanswered, and I have never been allowed to speak at a commissioners meeting on this issue. Today, the commissioners have asked that you grant their new money request, providing them funds from the general fund. Based on Gail's prior assertions, I want to state once again that $30,000 plus in fines, which Madison County failed to collect from Drew's parts, would defray the cost to the taxpayers for these appropriations. Since Ben informed me this was an issue the commissioners control, I am asking that you find out why the commissioners allowed these fines to be removed and ignored this issue for 2 years while they continued to request taxpayer funds.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion?
Lorene is a badass, and I'm very happy that she got up and said that. I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy that she was willing to do that. And I'm just letting everyone out there know, citizens of Madison County, you have to go and help back these people up. You do have to go to the meetings and sit there. Now, I want to be clear. Sometimes speaking is not everybody's forte. It's not everybody's cup of tea. They're not good at it. They're nervous. Public speaking just in and of itself is scary. Then knowing that you're going to go head to head with this, dickhead, and you're going to have him yell at you and gavel you down, that's scary for people. Maybe they think they're fearful they're going to be arrested by some kind of out of control, unconstitutional sheriff. Look, I get why people of Madison County are scared. So the people that do get up and speak, Cheryl McKinney, Rebecca Crooms, David Sargent, Lorene White, Catherine, you have to take the people sitting there with their butts in the seats and standing there in standing room only meeting. You got to take that as a comfort that there are people there who are supporting you. We ask all the time for people to show up. Even if you're unwilling to speak, show up in the seats and back us up. I always tell people that one way to help people understand, one way to help people know that you're there for them, even if you don't want to speak, when someone goes up to speak that you're there to support, just simply stand up in your seat. Stand up where you're at and stand with them. You don't have to say anything. Look, you're not a toddler. They can't make you sit down. There's nothing illegal about standing where you're sitting. You can simply just rise and stand while the speaker's talking and stand with them. Hell, go up to the podium with them if you want. Go stand at the podium with them and just stand there and go sit down. But if you don't want to do that, just stand at your seat. And then that way, when Cheryl or Rebecca or Catherine or David or who, any of the other speakers, Audie, myself, other people in other areas that are speaking, they'll know, okay, these people are here and they're supporting me. So those are just ways that, citizens that show up but don't want to speak, those are ways that they can help. I'm leaving out Bree. She wasn't there tonight, but Bree's very involved. So those are things that people can do. But I'm speaking to people like Bree. Bree is fired up. She's awesome. I hope that she doesn't get this, knocked down. We got to teach and keep all these people in the right frame of mind. And if you got to take a couple days, a couple weeks, a month, couple months off, do what you got to do for your mental health. Do what you got to do to reset. But you got to get back into the fight. We need these people in the fight. If we lose people like us, the citizens out there are out of luck. They are out of luck. Okay. I want to show you another person speaking. Okay, and this person speaks just a few minutes later, and I want you guys to hear this. Okay, here we are, and I want you to hear this. Here's another badass from Madison County.
It looks like we do have someone from the public who would like to speak.
Cheryl McKinney, Anderson, Indiana. I guess I'm confused. We have $140, which isn't that much money, but it's the principle of it. And our auditor doesn't know where it came from, doesn't really know where it went.
Well, this would be an auditor.
Now, keep in mind, Lorene White got up to speak and was very calm, was very cool, was very collected, was speaking and just was basically reading from minutes, telling them what happened in prior meetings. And he said, you know, we will not allow personal attacks. Okay. Now, the council in this matter is talking about an amount of money, $140, which in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. But in case you missed the meeting, what's going on here is nobody knows what's going on with this $140. It came in, and I forget who wants it. Not the prosecutor's office. I forget who wants this $140. HR wants this $140. The HR department, but nobody knows where it came from. It came from the Elwood or the Edgewood Police Department, but nobody knows why. Nobody knows how it got to where it's at, and she wants it, and it goes to her. But McKinney's getting up and saying, like, you know, the auditor is the person that's supposed to be monitoring this, and, you know, he can't tell us any better on this, whatever. Listen to what happens. This is a council meeting where the public is addressing their employees. The council works for the public, and the employees are supposed to be here listening to their bosses, the public. And so Cheryl McKinney is speaking to the council about, you know, what's going on with this $140. Doesn't the auditor know what's going on? Listen to what happens here.
This is the human resources that's made this request.
So the money
Balance is
came
the
in.
checkbook.
Who's responsible for the money coming in?
We don't know the reason for the money coming in. That's part of our question.
We don't know if the money came directly to HR. We don't know if it came to the county. We don't know how it got here. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
We would have to research that. There's a lot of revenue that comes to the county. Okay.
Last year.
Nonsense.
Okay, I know it was hard to hear because he doesn't speak into the microphone, but understand the council all sets up here. Here's the citizen, here's this attorney, and here's Rick Gardner. Rick Gardner is currently the auditor. When the clock strikes midnight on January 1st, he will no longer be the auditor, and he will now be an elected commissioner. All right, Rick ran for the commissioner's office. Rick used to be a counselor. Then he did a couple terms as counsel. Then he ran for auditor. Now he's out of the auditor's office, and he's now the commissioner elect. He will be commissioner. And what he just said was he wanted to address this nonsense because it's becoming nonsense. And he called Cheryl nonsense and her question nonsense. Now, in my opinion, he is way out of line. He's very rude. That is beyond out of control. And if that's the way he's going to run meetings when he's commissioner, oh, good Lord, man, we got another thing coming, because that is nuts that he would do that. That's nuts that he would that he feels like that is okay, that is something that is all right. It's just absolutely insane that he would do that. And so you can see on Cheryl's face, like, she's kind of like, what? Now listen to what she says here, and listen to how they handle this. Because what Cheryl just asked the question, and then he was like, well, I want to address this nonsense. And he kind of makes the gesture over to Cheryl. Listen to this.
Nonsense.
Ma'am, Rick, go ahead, please.
Last year, I researched to see what came in the county, what went out the county. $311 million came in.
And what Rick says is last year, $311 million came through into the county, and 200-some million dollars went out of the county. And so I can't be tasked to worry about where this piddly amount of money comes from. Dude, yeah, it's your job to know down to the dime, dude. Every last penny.
$280-something million went out. I don't have.
I'm confused too. If 300 million came in and 200 million went out, where's the 100 million difference?
Yeah, right. Like what? Yeah, right. What's up with that? Yeah, that's hilarious.
It's complete nonsense.
That's why we have software.
Is she, hey, Rick, because you've done something with maybe that town with maybe, because it's weird. Hey, where's Jody? You used to be a councilman over there.
Well, real quick.
I'm just saying something.
Real
So
quick, we still have a member of the public
Oh.
at the podium. If you'd like to conclude your comments.
You silenced somebody because you felt like it was an attack on them. You didn't silence him when he just attacked me and called me nonsense.
And I will deal with that. But right now, you're up here to speak.
But you dealt with her in public.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we see how you guys.
I will deal with that. I would have been like, well, what do you mean you'll deal with that? You'll give him a high five. You know, you'll go down in when the meeting ends. Like, what do you mean you'll deal with it? I want to see you deal with it right here.
Thank you.
It's inappropriate.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
No, I'm telling you, dude, this is the absolute epitome of disrespect. Now, Catherine and all of the citizens over there, they are in a bright spot. This guy currently right now is going out without getting his. But just because they leave doesn't mean they're free from whatever legal blowback there is. There very well could be legal blowback on them for actions taken with me or with others. Time will tell. That being said, the next time the council meets, there will be 3 new people. How will they be? Will they be there to back up Bethany? Bethany, right now, this guy sucks. This guy sucks. This guy sucks. This guy sucks. This woman sucks. This woman sucks. And this person is the only person that is up there that is worth a damn. These people aren't on the council, but Rick sucks and Ted Nolting, the attorney, sucks. Out of this room here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of these 9 people, only one of them is good. The rest of them, whatever. That being said, this man here in the middle, the president, he's gone. His bald brother over here, he's gone. And this turd on the end, he's gone. In January, Catherine and the rest of Madison County could be walking into a much different council, a more friendly council to the public, a nicer council, one that's willing to back up Bethany. Maybe not. Maybe Catherine and company need to continue sticking their foot on their neck and full court press. Time will tell. Time will tell. But I want you to listen to this one other part in here. I want you guys to listen to this one other section here. I know, Tweety Bird. Yeah, who knows? Why can't they answer? Why? You know what they do? They don't ever answer any of the citizens. They don't ever answer any citizens that ask any questions. They treat them like shit, and that's all they do. I don't know. It's gross. Okay, I want you to listen. I want you to listen to this now.
Comment.
Okay, just one thing. I checked with the coroner on that for the upfitting of the vehicles. The upfitting was included. No money was included for radios. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Cheryl McKinney, Anderson, Indiana. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I have a couple of concerns that I will address, only 2 of them, because I have more than we have enough time for. One of them is notoriously this council does not meet in December. I'm not sure how you can do that when you come every single month that I've been here. People have been asking for new monies, been asking for monies to be taken from this fund and put into that fund. So what are these people are going to do when you guys don't meet in December? I mean, Anderson City will meet in December. They don't stop. Government doesn't stop because you only want to work 11 months out of the year. You can laugh, Ben. You can laugh. That's fine. So I also understand that funds cannot be spent until they're appropriated. We watched here tonight numerous times. Money was already spent. We can talk about the election board. It was spent before it was appropriated. It's not allowed, but yet you guys continue to allow it. I only have one other comment. I know I said two. You guys have approved all this money for parks. The county doesn't own any land. You guys said that. So where are they going to get this land?
So let's say you have to read an incredible.
I hate when that happens.
Maine. So we're going to pay taxpayers for money. And this is not an attack on anybody on your board, and I won't use their name. However, there's somebody on this board that owns an awful lot of farmland out in the county. Are they going to make money on this? Shake your hand all you want.
Again, you're just being inappropriate.
You're not.
You can have a seat.
You're just
So
being inappropriate. You can have a seat. Dude, he is the king of bitches.
That is an appropriate question to ask. Does one of the council members have a
conflict of interest?
Fiduciary concern
Yes!
in this? Is there a conflict of interest? That is a perfectly legitimate question and one that should be answered. Period.
Yes. Yes, dude, these people are insane. Catherine, if you're watching this and not commenting, I'm telling you, woman, your county needs you. And if you need to back out and go away for your health, mental health, for what's best for you, I completely get it. But I'm telling you, those people need you. We need you. I need you. I want you to be involved with this. This is big. And I'm telling you, the fight, ladies and gentlemen, is just beginning. No, the attorney in the blue suit is Ted Nolting. His name is Ted Nolting. And he's like the after commercial for like meth treatment or something, or meth, I don't know. Like Rick and Ted are like the before and after. I don't know what it's for, but they're like the before and after. It's very weird. But I'll continue to let you hear what goes on here.
When you don't like what I have to say.
You can have a seat. No, there's something called decorum and being appropriate in a public meeting. So our next council
There's something called decorum, and you don't know a damn thing about it, man. You've never had a clue how to govern appropriately. You've never had a clue how to govern according to, you bring up Robert's rules all the time. I'm not sure that you ever actually read the book. Maybe your mommy read it to you and you forgot some of the words. Maybe you read every other word or every other chapter or something, but you're missing out on some serious stuff. Okay? You're missing out on some very, very serious stuff. Now, I do want to tell you, going back to when Laureen commented and was commenting, and they were trying to shut her up, they were trying to stop her. Since that action, because if you recall, it wasn't just the council getting involved. The council attorney got involved, and I'll tell you what the deal is there, okay? Laureen's an attorney, and Ted Nolting is a very, very, very small little man, okay? Very small little man. And I think he doesn't like the fact that Laureen outdoes him. She's a better attorney than he is. She's smarter than he is. She's probably a better speaker than he is. She probably looks better than he does in a blue suit. Any number of things, okay? He's a complete turd compared to her. And so he wanted to stick his nose in it, where I've been very vocal about this because I've actually had the county council. It's always county councils. It's never city council. It's never big, important people. It's always these podunk people that think that they're, going to show their, what they do is they show their ass. They think that they're really doing something, and all it is showing their ass and showing their stupidity. I've had the county attorney at Delaware County, admonish me and others, and we had to put him in his place. And I gladly will put Ted in his place and various other people. Well, Ted spoke up. Meeks Cockrell. You're right. I lied. Meeks Cockrell does that too. He speaks when not spoken to, and that's a city council. But city council in Winchester, Delaware County Council, Madison County Council is very, very same vein. But yes, you are correct. I you know what? To hell with you, Kate. I literally for a second had forgot about Meeks Cockrell, and you just messed my life up and brought him back into my mind. I literally had forgotten all about Meeks Cockrell, and you just ruined my life because you brought him back up. What a horrible individual. Well, anyways, to end here real quick, before I've got two more things I want to talk to you about, and one of them is this. So tonight, after this ordeal went on, after Ted Nolting spoke up and tried to stick it to Laureen, an email got sent to all of the council members, and I would assume to the commissioners and maybe to Ted Nolting himself. And this is what, no, I think maybe just the councilors. Okay, and this is what this email says, okay? Let me blow it up here so I can see it. I'm not going to put it on the screen. I'm just going to read this to you. Okay, it says, this was sent out at 10:20 p.m. tonight on today's date. And this is what it says. Counselors, during the November 12th, 2024 council meeting, I believe your current legal counsel, Ted Nolting, provided questionable legal service. Mr. Nolting's advice exposed the county to a significant civil rights lawsuit. Future reliance on Mr. Nolting's advice may be very well due. Future reliance on Mr. Nolting's advice may very well do so. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Future reliance on Mr. Nolting's advice might not be good, I guess, in the future. As a taxpayer, I'm writing to urge you all to consider more competent legal counsel during your January meeting and reorganization. Miss Laureen White spoke during the public comment period of the commissioner's new money request. During that speech, Mr. Gale interrupted Miss White numerous times. First, Gale stated Miss White's comments were a personal attack against council members and somehow prohibited. Second, Mr. Gale moved to Miss White's comments not being on topic. When Miss White raised the question of content-based discrimination, Mr. Nolting advised Gale's restrictions were permissible under the time, place, and manner standard. It is undeniable members of the public have constitutional rights to criticize politicians. This is well-settled case law, and why Mr. Nolting would provide such advice is beyond me. I would like to point out Miss White's comments would likely not be construed as a personal attack under any reasonable analysis. as she simply stated the procedural history of the events and Mr. Gale's involvement in the matter. Additionally, Miss White's comments were obviously written and prepared prior to the meeting. As Miss White finished her prepared remarks, it became clear her comments related to the current agenda item. Even if the council wishes to use a standard that comments must relate to an agenda item, Mr. Gale's arguments fail. Just because a member of the public doesn't get to the point in a speed or manner acceptable to the council does not strip them of their constitutional right. Not that the county should adopt a standard as it's not that the county should adopt that standard as it's highly subjective and likely a violation of the First Amendment. Number 1, time, place, and manner restrictions. Time, place, and manner restrictions are regulations that limit when, where, or how a message can be communicated, but they do not restrict the content of the said message. The Supreme Court has, however, upheld the idea that speech may be regulated under time, place, and manner regulations. However, the burden of such regulations is still fairly high, requiring the government to show that their restrictions on the speech are 1, content neutral, that the government does not outlaw content-specific viewpoints, and in this case, they would fail with that right there. Number 2, narrowly tailored to serve the government's interest, meaning they cannot be overly broad to regulate more than what is necessary to achieve government interest, like, for example, public safety. And number 3, ample alternative means to express the ideas. And I will tell you, Madison County does not do that at all. I think they would fail for that point alone. They don't offer places and ways for citizens to express themselves to the elected officials. Most of the time when people express themselves to the elected officials, there are no responses. They don't respond to emails. They don't respond to texts or calls. In my opinion, the only real 2 or 3 councilmen or councilwomen, counselors that do are Bethany Keller, Jody Norick, and McHale Vaughn. McHale Vaughn only does it to be a weirdo and a creep, but he's gone, so it doesn't matter. Jody Norick does respond to people, but she's a turd, so it doesn't really matter. And Bethany Keller, of course, she's a badass, and so she does her job, but that leaves the rest of the council wide open. Moving on in the letter, most courts consider public comment periods to be designated public forums. Forums that government officials have opened up or designed for freedom of expression. When the government creates a designated public forum, the government cannot then make viewpoint or content-based restrictions on speech unless they meet strict scrutiny, the highest form of judicial review. In other words, when the government creates a designated public forum, that forum holds the government's feet to the First Amendment fire just as much as in any traditional public forum, which are the streets, parks, public spaces, the public square, okay, other places and spaces in society that has been held in trust for public use to assemble, communicate thoughts between citizens, and discuss public questions. When the government bodies establish public comment periods, they must adhere to the fundamental First Amendment principles. They cannot shut down or silence speakers simply because they offer a disfavorable viewpoint or criticize government officials. And this person that wrote this, I will tell you for the record, is not Laureen. So it's not Laureen writing about herself. It was someone else writing on behalf of this. And I hope that the council, specifically the 3 new people coming in, listen to this and take this to heart, because I'm telling you, in the last couple of meetings, the last 3 meetings, Madison County have put themselves in quite a pickle legally. in September. They shut down and violated Catherine's First Amendment rights. In October, they shut down me and violated my First Amendment rights. And then in November, they, in my opinion, they made a problem when they did what they did with Lorene. Now, they didn't haul her out of there and they let her speak, but it was very weird. And so the council needs to be very careful. And as far as Mr. Knowlting, shut up unless you are spoken to by the council. Don't speak to a citizen at the podium, you weird freak. Okay. So I wanted to read that because the person who sent that to the council sent it to me. And I wanted to read that too. I think that was fantastic. I love it. And that's the last thing I wanted to say to Catherine. I understand how disheartening, and to everyone else, I understand how disheartening it is when it feels like we are going up against the machine and we are losing. It feels like the machine is winning at every turn, but that is not the case. That is not the case. We are in a good spot right now. We've got a lot of what we want at the federal level. We've got a lot of what we want in a different ways on the local level. You guys have a chance to be able to get rid of Russ. In Delaware County, the parties are crumbling, and hopefully a new thing is starting to rise out of the ashes. We also have the ability to change things up here in March with the Republican Party. And hope is out there, folks. We have to band together and we have to keep up the work. It is hard work. It is hard work. But we can do it. I got a can of Rust for that machine. Absolutely. We can do it. It's always one step forward, two steps back. But by God, we will get there. We will make it happen. It's just going to take the work. You got to do the work. We got to do the work. That's what we've got to do. The trolls are scared. That's absolutely right. Absolutely. So this episode was not at all what I thought it would be. And I hate that my partner in crime for this one wasn't with me, but hopefully we'll be able to rally her to be here maybe within the next couple of days or whatever. But if she needs to take some time, I completely understand. And I want to say to all of the people in Madison County, you guys are badasses. Cheryl, Bree, Catherine, Rebecca, Sean, Lorene, all of you guys, Dave, those of you that Nicole and Aaron, and on and on and on. Okay, it's a network. We've got to continue to grow the network. We've got to continue to bring people to it. We've got to continue to bring ourselves to people, bring the message to people. Keep in mind how many people have told you that they voted because you started sharing stuff. They vote because they hear your message either on your show or on my show, that they've got involved because of what they hear. That, ladies and gentlemen, is making a difference. What we do here is make a difference. So without further ado, I am out of here. We will see you back tomorrow, where hopefully we will have a more regular type show. I guess this was as regular as any other show. They're all the same. All right. We will be back here at 9 p.m. tomorrow. I do want everyone to remember we're really, really pushing it hard, but I've had a lot of people asking me, so I need people to know. I even saw tonight someone got it wrong. Someone said that we're normally on at 8. No, we are on here, ladies and gentlemen, Sunday through Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's our start time, 9 p.m. Eastern. However, this coming Friday, we will have a special episode live on Friday, an hour early at 8 p.m. Tune in, be here, be ready to listen to it. It'll be exciting. Let people know. It'll be fun. And we will get the word out and tell you guys what all's going on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, until tomorrow, you guys take care. God bless. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night. Goodbye. God bless.